Sex addiction is the hardest addiction to explain to somebody. I am a sex addict. My name is Eric. I'm also a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. And sex addiction has a ton of stigma, a ton of fear in sharing about it because you have a lot of people, one, that don't believe it's real. Two, people think that it's fucking cool. And three, it fucking sucks. It's one of the worst addictions I think that there is, in the sense that, yeah, it's not going to kill you. It's not like doing heroin, but man, it fucking consumes you. And it consumes your whole brain. It consumes everything about you. The thing with sex addiction is it's one, it's hard to have a relationship, but two, it's something that starts off as like a little flame, and you're going to get it one way or another. One way or shape or form, you're going to satisfy this urge, whether it's with other women, whether it's with porn, whether it's with your spouse, however. And you're going to ruin a lot of fucking relationships during the process, because a lot of people don't get it. At first, people think that it's cute and it's funny and that it's like, oh, that's kind of hot. No, it ain't fucking hot. It really isn't fucking hot. It's anything but that, because it is that consuming, that it rents that much space in our brain. I mean, whether it shifts over to porn or whether it shifts into just sleeping around with multiple partners, I mean, that alone can be dangerous, because you're not even thinking about the health concerns. You are just concerned about having sex. Sex and feeding that beast in one way or another. And it doesn't matter who, and just like any addiction, you don't give a fuck who you hurt. You don't give a fuck who it affects, what families it affects, because you're living literally in that moment, just like you do with addiction when it comes to alcohol or cocaine, because I'm recovering from both of those. The only thing I've found that's helped me with sex addiction is I have to treat it just like I do my alcohol and cocaine addictions. And I have to keep it under check, and I have to own it, and I have to share it. And it's the hardest fucking thing in the world to share, because you're kind of embarrassed. It's an uncomfortable subject, because let's face it, we don't talk about sex enough, and there's not enough education on sex. That you don't understand. And if you do become addicted to this, you don't understand it. You don't know why you'll spend hours a day surfing through different porn, through looking at escorts, to hitting up different women. That alone is a fucking ton. It ruins your days. Let alone if you're in a marriage or a relationship, you're going to ruin that in many ways, because it doesn't stop. It's maybe fun at first. It may be kind of funny at first even, but it doesn't stop. It becomes that obsessive. It becomes that much of a desire of something that you have to feed, that it hurts so many other people around you. To give you an idea, I mean, like starting a fire, you light that match, and that's like that first instant when it like hits into your brain. And all of a sudden, everything starts firing off, and you become consumed. And it's even worse when somebody feeds into it. I have had people before that have fed into this, where they think that it's awesome. Next thing you know, they're sending nudes and they're sending, videos, that you become fully obsessed with this. Like, you are locking yourself in your room, and you're just, yeah, that's all you can think about. I mean, if you're in the relationship with somebody and it switches over to porn, yeah, they're probably in the bathroom for hours because they don't want to be bothered as they're surfing through porn. I'm sorry, it doesn't take that long to shit in the bathroom. You're surfing through porn. I've been there. I've done that. That was one of my outlets. It's owning this shit, though, and knowing how real it is, and helping others with it. I mean, the more that you share about it, the more that you talk about it, the more that you let other people know that, hey, I understand, it does help, because we can relate. I've been to SLAW meetings. I've been to Sex Anonymous meetings. And it's one of those that sharing about it does help. It helps keep it under control. It helps keep ownership of it instead of letting it own you, because this is an addiction that truly can own me, to the point that if it starts early in the morning and something has fired this trigger off, it consumes me. Within an hour, it has fully consumed me. Just kind of like drinking. Unfortunately, when it came to like drinking and all that stuff, I mean, it hit and just boom, boom, boom. With this, it's a slow, gradual build, and it gets more and more and more, and it just won't stop. And no matter what I do, it doesn't stop. Trying to fend that off is hard, and trying to explain to somebody and having them understand what's going on is hard. Next thing you know, you're requesting nudes from everybody you fucking know. You're requesting videos from everybody you know. You're sending out random dick pics. You're sending out videos of you masturbating. I mean, this is the reality of it. It isn't fun shit, and it's embarrassing shit to talk about, especially as a guy. Hey, my name is Eric. I'm a sex addict. Not something fun that we want to really fucking talk about. And I think a lot of parents and people shield people away from it that they don't understand. I mean, you don't understand your body growing up. You don't understand, the difference between lust and love and how to enjoy. And some of us just feed into that full-on lust and that desire and that craving for it. A healthy relationship does involve sex. It may not to the point with a sex addict. I mean, I like to have sex at least every day or have some kind of orgasm every single day. And it feels fucking weird to talk about this. Like, I'm uncomfortable talking about it. I deal with ADHD, I deal with PTSD, I deal with MDD, I deal with GAD, I deal with addiction, alcohol and cocaine, sex and electronic addictions were the addictions that have consumed me before. Sex addiction is one of those that's very hard to fend off because, let's face it, even as a sex addict, to have a healthy relationship, there has to be sex in there. There has to be that intimacy in there. And with a sex addict, it's not necessarily intimacy. I mean, I'm a very visual person, so I have to be able to see everything. I like to touch. I like to feel. So for me, it's not just even the act of having sex. It's the whole buildup and the foreplay and just the idea and the flirting. And it starts even with that flirting where you start to cross that line a little too much and it becomes this other beast. And the only way I can relate to it is a beast because it is that powerful. It is that strong that you literally become somebody else. And then all of a sudden, if your partner shoots you down or your partner has a headache or whatever that night, you're going to get it one way or another. The best thing that you can do is to be openly communicative about this of like, hey, these are my challenges. These are my struggles. This, like with me, I mean, sharing this to me, I have fucking goosebumps up and down my fucking arms because I'm that uncomfortable sharing about it. But I know that it's something that people out there struggle with. And I like to share my experiences so that other people don't struggle and they know that it's okay. It's okay to enjoy sex. To have it consume you, though, and control your life, it's not. Because you're going to spend money on ways that you shouldn't be spending money. You're going to be at the fucking subscriptions online. You're going to be at the sex shops. You're going to be spending money on hotel rooms because you're not going to have sex in your house when you're having sex with other people. I mean, there's so much that goes involved in it, and that's the fucking reality of it. That's the shitty reality of it. Because I've been there. And it's fucking hard. And it's even worse than when that craving is satisfied and you find these people around you that you hurt. And let's face it, a lot of times with people in sex, there's a lot of emotions involved. There's a lot of love involved. And with a sex addict, that's not necessarily the case. It's the act of it. It's the feeling of it. And we don't get necessarily that emotional bond. So now you're devastating somebody who might have fallen in love with you. And it's not right. And that's where it's so important to go through and make amends with people when you're fighting through this of anybody that you hurt. Open relationships, I can tell you this, an open relationship with a fucking sex addict ain't gonna fucking work. All that means is our free pass to go around and fuck anybody and everybody we want to. And it's kind of sad. I mean, that's the reality of it. You end up hurting so many fucking people. But I'm going to share a lot on sex addiction because it's one of those that we don't talk about enough. I mean, we don't talk about mental illness enough. We don't talk about depression enough. We don't talk about sex addiction enough. We don't talk about addiction enough. I mean, all this stuff is reality in life, and there's people out there struggling with it. And the worst is when you're struggling with it is to feel alone, to feel that nobody can relate. The feeling of having a ton of friends with benefits because you just need to keep having those benefits. That's what that shit's like. And it sucks because then you're done and you'll leave people feeling used. You'll start upping it even more like you do with other addictions to where, the kinkier it gets or the more intense that it gets or the more risky it gets. And I don't even mean risky as in the way of safe sex versus non-safe sex. I mean, you're having sex in fucking public and dressing rooms. You're doing shit that's just like, come on, dude, like stop. I mean, that's what this addiction is. That's what this addiction encompasses. This is what it engulfs. And it makes us into somebody that we're not. I mean, if you're struggling out there, the best resources for you is probably SLAW, which is Sex, Love, and Addiction Anonymous. I have the link down below. and Sex Anonymous. And even going to Sex Anonymous, it's not like you think. You're not there with necessarily men and women. They're smarter than that. You don't put a bunch of females and males together that are sex addicts. It doesn't fucking work that way. It does give you a chance to share, though, and it gives you even somebody, keeping accountable with. I mean, your accountability even to your partner is huge. And it's hard because your partner is going to get very offended and very upset very easily and very quickly because they don't want you to even talk about or thinking about lusting or wanting somebody else. But that's what's going on in our brain. That's what our desire in here is fucking telling us to fucking do. And it sucks. It's not 50 Shades of Grey shit. It's fucking, this is my life all of a sudden consumed by shit. So if you are struggling out there, I mean, check out some of those resources. Check out some of those tools out there because it's scary and it's hard when you're going through it. I mean, it really is. It's not a fucking joy. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of worry. It's a lot of hurt. It's a lot of pain. But with any addiction, as long as you're making amends, as long as you're staying accountable, as long as you're with people that understand, it does make it easier to fight through, just like with any addiction. So if you're struggling out there, I mean, check out the links down below. Because you don't have to go it alone. I mean, you're going to waste money on porn subscriptions, all this other bullshit. Just spend some time with others that are like you instead. And understanding, because just like any addiction, I only drink, after I get off of work, or I'll only drink at parties. It's the same thing comes with sex addiction. I'm only going to do porn online. I won't fuck hookers and I won't fuck other women. No, it doesn't work that way. It bleeds then all over the place. Get with the people, get with the right support, keep making amends, keep yourself accountable, especially if you're in a relationship. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. The relationship will fall apart. It'll fall apart. And if that's what you want, it's going to happen. If that's not what you want, it's going to happen. So be open. Check out the resources. Start getting help. My name is Eric. If you're new to my channel is all about mental health, mental illness, suicide awareness, addiction, just making sure that nobody goes through life alone, bridging the gap between the suicide hotline or crisis hotline and therapy. Knowing that you can fight through it. Down below, I have links to all the different social medias out there, Mental Health Discord. I have links down below even to all the affiliate links to Amazon for tools that I use for my anxiety. I believe in sharing from experiences and tools and resources that I've been through to maybe help that one person out there suffering silently. Even links down there to BetterHelp. When it comes to sex addiction, it is something in our brain that therapy can help with that. It's trial and error, though, to find out what works for you and not giving up. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, hit the like and subscribe button. I'd love to have you along for the journey because it's a we thing, it's a us thing every single day together.